Hello students, welcome to the lecture session on measurement of non-electrical quantities. Okay, it is continued from last module. So here this is the syllabus under module 5. Okay, so measurement of non-electrical quantities continued. Temperature measurements. Okay, so once I will bore you on the syllabus. Temperature measurement, flow measurement, measurement of displacement, measurement of velocity, bar speed, measurement of acceleration, measurement of force, measurement of torque, measurement of shaft power, measurement of liquid level, measurement of viscosity. Okay, so this is the syllabus under module 5. Okay, so today I am going to discuss the first two bit. So here temperature measurement and flow measurement. Okay, so under flow measurement, electromagnetic flow meter, thermal flow meter, wire anemometers. Okay, so today I'm going to cover these two topics. Okay, so temperature measurement and flow measurement. First one is temperature measurement. Okay, the temperature is a thermal state of body which distinguishes a hot body from a cold body. Okay, so the temperature of body is proportional to the stored molecular energy. Okay. So the average molecular kinetic energy of the molecules in a system, a particular molecule does not have a temperature. It has a energy. The gas as a system has a temperature. Okay, so also the we can define as temperature. Okay, so the measure of the mean kinetic energy of the molecules of a substance. So here the instruments for measuring ordinary temperatures are known as thermometer, and those for measuring high temperatures are known as thermometer. Okay, so here some of the basics I put. Absolute temperature is equal to thermometer reading in degree Celsius plus 273.15 means 15. Okay, so absolute temperature is in degree centigrade is known as the degree Kelvin denoted by K. So here the electrical resistance, as we know, the characteristics of the electrical resistance also depends on the temperature. Okay, so if the electrical resistance of a wire is known and calibrated material is in terms, we can measure the temperature. Okay, temperature we can measure, right? So here the change of electrical resistance of a wire with the temperature changes is another effect of the increased molecular capacity as caused by heat. Okay, so hence by using this effect we are measuring the this one temperature. Okay, by with help of the effect of change in resistance with respect to the change in temperature. So what we are doing here, we are measuring the temperature. So also the well-known equation R is equal to rho L by A. Okay, so the variation of resistance is depends rho L by A, where rho is the resistivity, L is the length, and A is the cross-sectional area of the electrical conductor. Okay, with the temperature for most of the metals, the following quadratic relationship gives a good accuracy. So okay, so hence with help of this we are going to measure the temperature. Okay, let us I will elaborate here how we are measuring the temperature with help of the electrical using the resistance. Okay, using the resistance, how the temperature we are obtaining. Okay, this is the resistance thermometer. Okay, so construction of simple resistance thermometer. Okay, so here if you are looking to this one, the resistance element. Okay, this is the resistance element, it is taken outside. Okay, the resistance element is usually in the form of foil or very fine platinum, nickel or copper wound non-conductively onto any insulating ceramic former, which is protected externally by the metal sheath. Okay, so and these two terminals are taken outside. Okay. So here the resistance, it should be ensure that the resistance of wire is free from mechanical stresses. A metal which has been strained will suffer a change in the resistance characteristics. So it should be ensure the uh, free from the mechanical stresses. Okay, mechanical stresses. You should ensure this resistance must free from the mechanical stresses. Okay, otherwise what it will be happens, it will be suffers in the change in the resistance characteristics. If the resistance characteristics will be changes varies according to the temperature, hence what it will be happens, we will not get the correct readings. Okay, so and also metal is therefore usually annealed. Okay, annealed is nothing but it is a heat treating process which it is done to relieve these stresses. Okay, so here leads are taken out of the thermometer for the measurement of the changes in the resistance in order to determine the value of temperature. Okay, as I earlier I told here, please note it, the change in resistance, changes in the resistance is determined the value of temperature. Okay, the change in resistance is usually measured by the Weston bridge. Okay, so which may be used either in null balanced condition or in the deflection out of the balance condition. Okay, so the how much it will be changed, it will be occurred, that it will be detected by using the Weston bridge. Okay, next one is the thermocouple and the thermoelectric pyranometer. Okay, thermocouple, as already I have discussed in the module 1. Okay, so the same principle here also utilized to measure the temperature. So what it is, the thermocouple? Thermocouple is nothing but it will be a two dissimilar metals, okay, are joined together. Okay, so what it will be happens, a small EMF will be induced. One is maintained in the hot junction and the one is mentioned in the cold junction. Okay, as already I have discussed. Okay, so here a thermocouple is in the simplest form consists of two dissimilar metals or alloys which develops EMF when the reference and measuring junctions are different temperatures. Okay, I repeat here, when here this is a very important point, when the reference and measuring junctions are at the different temperatures. The reference junction or cold junction is usually the maintained at a some constant temperature such as 0 degree. Okay, 0 degree Celsius. The same principle what I have discussed in the module 1, the thermocouple, it is same principle here we are used. See, if you are looking to this figure, okay, so to measuring junction metal 1, okay, so copper leads are taken out, right? So the same principle it is mentioned. One more figure I have here. See the schematic diagram of thermoelectric pyranometer. Here it will be taken in compensating leads, outside it will be taken. Okay, so the compensating leads should be as low as possible. Its resistance should be as low as possible, because it should not be affect the readings. Okay, so here the pair of leads wires made of such materials which when connected to a thermocouple behave such that effective reference junction are to the other end of the leads. Okay, its material should be such that it has the same EMF temperature characteristics as the thermocouple, okay, over the range of ambient temperature. Okay, so this points to be remember when you are using this compensating leads. Okay, so next one is the flow measurement. Okay, so flow measurement under that electromagnetic flow meter, thermal flow meter and wire anemometer. Okay, let us begin with the definition of the flow meter. So here flow meter is a device used to measure flow rate. I repeat here, flow meter is a device used to measure a flow rate. Okay, so are the quantity of fluids passing through the pipe. So if any fluid, gas, okay, whatever it will be moving through the pipe or some other uh, way, so we are measuring the what is the flow is there. Okay, so here the question will be arise, there will be a conducting fluid and a non-conducting fluid. Okay, let's afterwards I will conclude that which are we are using for conducting and non-conducting fluids. Okay, in particular fluid dynamics and hydrometric, the volumetric flow rate is the volume of the fluid which passes per unit time, usually represented by the symbol Q. Okay, usually we are mentioning in terms of Q symbol we are using, and the SI unit is cubic meter per second. Okay, I hope you are understood that what is flow meter means the flow rate we are going to measure. So first one is the electromagnetic flow meter. Magnetic flow meters works based on the Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction. So here, according to this principle, when a conductive medium, okay, so this here especially this electromagnetic flow meter is only for measuring the conductive medium. Okay, the fluid which it is moving through a pipe or whatever, so there it should have a conducting one, then only we are apply this Faraday's law and you are getting the flow rate. Okay, so electromagnetic flow meters, so here according to the principle, when a conductive medium passes through a magnetic field B, a voltage E is generated, okay, which is proportional to the velocity V of the medium. Okay, here before this explanation, better I will go to the figure. So here the construction, how it is shown. Okay, so here insulating conduit and electrodes are placed. Okay, and inside this here fluid is flowing inside. Okay, it will becomes like that, and it will be flows, and there will be two electrodes. Okay, one here and electrodes. Okay, so and here outside this the magnet is placed here. Okay, this is a magnet. Okay, and millivoltmeter or potentiometer. Okay, so here to measure. Here one more figure I have. Okay, one more figure I have here. Just I will see. Okay, here you can see the electromagnetic flow meter. So the flow, it is nothing but velocity, it will be flowing. Here I will show you. Okay, velocity. Okay, magnetic field strength in this direction, and electromagnetic force voltage will be developed here. Okay, so this is the basic principle you are using here is the Faraday's electromagnetic. Just a moment, I will take this one back. I will go. Okay, so here the basic principle is Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction is used. Okay, already now you come to know that how it is construction. According to this principle, what it will be happens, the conductive medium passes through the magnetic field B, a voltage E is generated. This is a principle. Okay, so I repeat here, when the conductive medium passes through the magnetic field, the voltage generated, which is proportional to the velocity V of the medium. Okay. So here consider the flow of conductive liquid through a non-metallic insulating pipe located in the air gap of the permanent magnet. So already we know that the EMF, just a moment. Just a moment. Okay, so as we know, the EMF induced according to the Faraday's laws is given by this equation. E is equal to BLV into 10 raised to minus 8. Okay, where B is magnetic flux density, L is length of conductor, and V is velocity of conductor. Okay, so with help of this we'll come to know that what is the flow rate. Okay, if you are substituting in this equation, okay, Q is equal to pi over 4 into d square V. Okay, so we are substituting in the L is equal to d and V is equal to 4Q by pi d square. Okay, So in above equation, that is E is equal to BLV. Now we will get this equation. Okay, so this is the equation. This equation, what it shows here, the E, the induced voltage, okay, the EMF, okay, EMF E is directly proportional to the flow rate Q. E is directly proportional to the Q. Okay, so by knowing this voltage, the EMF, we can come to know that the flow rate. Okay, whereas the E, induced EMF E, so long as the flux density remains unaltered, okay, flux density unaltered, then what it will be happens, so we are measuring the flow rate Q, as Q is directly proportional to the E. Okay, these are the advantages. Okay, no obstruction to flow, can handle slurries, high accuracy and reliability. The output is unaffected by changes in characteristics of liquid. The output voltage is linearly related to the input. Okay, it means what? The output voltage is linearly to the flow rate. Okay, so bidirectional flow can be measured, either direction flow we can measure. The mass flow rate can be found by measuring the density and the multiplying the output signal for indication of mass flow rate. Okay, so all of you go through these advantages. Disadvantages: the operating costs are high, particularly heavy slurry are handled. Its use is limited to fluid having conductivity at least of the order of 0.05 micromole per centimeter, because as earlier I told, the fluid which it is flowing, the whose we are going to measure the flow rate, must have the conductivity. So its minimum conductivity is 0.05 micromole per centimeter is required. Otherwise, you can't measure the flow rate, because no EMF will be induced, because if it is in non-conductive. There must be a full at all the time, because it sees velocity as analogous to volume flow rate. Okay. So these are the disadvantages. Okay. So next one is thermal flow meter. Thermal flow meter. So here in this meter, in this type of flow meter, useful for measurement of corrosive liquids. Okay, thermal flow shows a thermal flow meter. Why it is called thermal means, here if you are looking this figure, the heater coil is wounded on this one. Heater, okay, this is the heater coil, and it is taken here, the terminal for heating purpose. Okay, so now the heater coil is wounded. Now the flow rate whose measure is allowed to in this. Okay, so here it is called upstream side, and this one is downstream side. So the whose velocity we are going to measure, it will be allowed to in this direction, and it will be flows to through this. And in between, what it is, there are two sensors are placed, thermal sensors we are mentioning here. Okay, this 1 and this is 2. Okay, 1 and 2 are the thermal sensor. Okay, whose temperature is measured here, T1 and T2. Whose temperature is T1 and T2. Okay, so I conclude here that it consists of a heater placed in the fluid stream with the two temperature sensors such as thermocouples or resistance thermometer. Okay, so this is another view. It is mentioned here that what it is flowing here, the liquid, water or gases. So and here is temperature sensor. Okay, so here is temperature sensor 1 and 2 it is placed. Okay, heater is placed over this one. Now working I will explain. Okay, so consider working I will tell, I will explain here, sorry. So now under no flow condition, so under no flow condition means no any liquid is flowing over here. Okay, so under no flow condition, what it will be happens, the temperature T1 and T2 of the sensors will be same, and the differential signal measured on the detector will be 0. Okay, so what it is that both the temperature will be same, because no fluid will be inside and nothing will be flowing through this stream. Okay, so hence the temperature T1 and T2 will be the same, so hence the detector will be measured is 0. Okay. So when the flow increases, T1 will fall, because consider now the case when the fluid will becomes increase, it will be passes through first this one T1 here. So what it will be happens to the in T1? T1 will fall and T2 will be rise, because still it is in higher only. So fluid will be assumed till it will be reached here. So what it will be happens? T1 will be false, T1 will be false, T2 will be in the rise down, means it will be in the high only. So I conclude here that when the flow increases, T1 will fall and T2 will rise until a steady state is reached. Okay, so this is the basic principle we can say that we are utilizing here to find the flow rate. Okay, so the heat transfer to the fluid by heater is given by one equation is there here. I will show you. Okay, I repeat here that the flow it will becomes here means the temperature T1 will be false and it will be rise. Okay, so the heat transfer to the fluid by the heater is given by this equation. Okay, this equation Q is equal to m Cp, okay, in the bracket under bracket T2 minus T1. With help of knowing this all the things, we can come to know that what is the flow rate. Okay. Next one is the wire anemometer. Okay, wire anemometer is this device are hot wire resistance. I repeat here, are hot wire resistance transducers wire filament which are used for measurement of flow rates of fluid. Okay, so here if you are looking to this, it is a western bridge, it is formed. Okay, so hot wire probes here, there the terminals are taken through this western bridge. Okay, now okay, so here by suitable locating this transducer, the flow rate of non-conducting liquids in open channels and closed pipes and of gases in closed pipes can be conveniently measured. I repeat here, there is no requirement of here conductive medium. Here it is non-conductive. It means what? The flow rate of the non-conducting liquid in open channels and closed pipes, whatever it is, open or closed pipes. So even though it is non-conducting, such this one we can measure the flow rate. Okay, the transducer which is in the form of probe is located at the center of pipe with direction of the wire perpendicular to the direction of fluid flow. Okay, so here the flow sensing element is short length of 5 micrometer platinum tungsten wire, okay, welded between the probe and heated electrically as a part of western bridge. So it's nothing but this wire we are going to heat through this western bridge. This is the another figure of hot wire bridge circuit. So the hot wire is get heated up through the western bridge. Okay, so here it is connected with these two terminals. Okay, and here the flow whose velocity is measured is allowed. Okay, so this pipe, and here the one more below figure, it will be showing here the flow and conducting wires here. Okay, so when the probe is introduced into this flowing fluid, okay, when this probes are introduced into the flowing fluid, it tends to be cooled by the instantaneous velocity. So the probe is introduced in the flowing fluid and it will be tends to be cooled by the instantaneous velocity, and consequently there is a tendency of electrical resistance to decrease. I repeat here, what it will be happens as soon as the flow is entered to this contact with this leads, so what it will be happens, the electrical resistance will be decreases. Okay, so this phenomena will be considered and the resistance, the change in the resistance will be depends upon the dimension and physical property of the wire. Okay, and the second one is the difference of temperature between the wire and the fluid. Third one is physical property of the fluid. Okay, and fourth one is the stream velocity under measurement. Okay, so here for a simple hot wire anemometer, the first three conditions. First three condition means the first one is the dimension and physical property of the wire will be remains constant. Okay, and the second one is the difference of temperature between the wire and fluid, physical property of the fluid. Okay, and these are the conditions are effectively constant, and the instrument response is then a direct measure of the velocity. Okay, so here I put all the points. Okay, with this I conclude this session. Okay, thank you.